so many representations from CII to the government. How do you finally see the stimulus sort of being handed out eventually?
I've only seen the stimulus in rumors and in the air. If anyone else has seen it, I'll be pleased to listen to it. But we've been talking about this to the government for more than a month and frankly, not getting an answer. But let me also, let's leave stimulus aside right now. What Mr. Bhargav says is perfectly true. The first thing, I think, if we can change after this pandemic and the kind of crisis situation we are in, we've learned the center and the states are able to work together. They're able to supply food. They're able to supply essential items across the country. Also, largely the opposition has been working with the government. I wish this will continue after the crisis is over. That will make one big difference, and that will enable us to push in big ticket reforms. A second is what he's talked about, trust. I entirely agree. Right from my beginning in CII, I've been saying we have to improve trust and respect between society and industry, society and government and industry. This kind of a triangulation is very, very important for us to go forward. Anyway, getting back to industrial growth. Besides the auto industry, we've been talking with various sectors. There are some sectors like the chemical industry. There's some companies which have been running at almost 100% through the crisis because of the requirement of essential items. A lot of the essential food producers have been running. Whilst there are others who have run at 40-50%, a lot of the steel plants have been running even right through this and exporting largely to Japan. They have also been running at about 30-40%. Auto has been zero, as was told, and a lot of the small businesses, small producers have been virtually zero. Pharma has been doing well. Agriculture looks pretty good. In spite of the situation, I think they managed to get the people out in time to start the harvest. So overall, economy, I don't see any chance of any great growth. It's going to come down. Auto sector down by 50% next year. And it's going to be a completely changed environment. Running for a large company, this is, like Mr. Bhargav said, if you built up your reserves. Some of us have been able to build up our reserves over the year. We have no debt. We can ride through for a couple of months, perhaps, but not more than that. And definitely not at 40-50% capacity utilization. The fixed costs are too high. And then you will start thinking of how do you slash fixed costs. And the biggest problem, especially from the auto sector point of view, is the employment. We have a huge amount of employment, especially in the dealerships, which is phenomenal across the country. It's not just in the industrial areas. As the component manufacturers are in industrial areas, the car makers are in industrial areas, but the dealerships are across the country. And they're good businesses. They're all independent businesses, and they're under severe stress right now with the situation. So it's going to be a tough time with employment, I think, in the coming years ahead. At least I don't see the auto industry coming back to normal, some kind of vagary of normal production till June 21.
Demand seems to be a big question here, and also adding to that, the entire experience, the consumer experience, probably will move to virtual from what we see today.
First of all, I think we've just started opening our dealerships. My experience with our dealerships, I'm sure it's similar with, and I spoke with Rajan earlier also. He said we have started getting in people for service. Actually, quite a good amount. Wherever the dealerships have opened, people are coming into service vehicles. I was told on the commercial vehicle side also, commercial vehicles which have been used for the last 1 month, their people desperately need services to repair and maintain the vehicles. So that has started. And if you look at the structure of a dealership, service plays a very, very important issue in covering their costs and perhaps covering all their costs. So as service starts and people get some confidence in the safety of a dealership, I think there is some scope of buying. But I get up and I've been saying this at many shows. I can't imagine anyone getting up in the morning and saying, I want to buy a new car. That unless he desperately needs it for some reason or the other.
A lot of people are asking if car makers are going to give big discounts after the lockdown.
If they want to shut themselves off, they'll give discounts. I think the prices will rise. If you're going to run at 30-40% capacity utilization, unless you want to just commit hirakiri, you'll probably raise your prices.